we're going to be making a blackened ribeye steak sandwich with garlic blue cheese mayo. Now you'll notice I didn't say we're going to be making that today because this is a 2-day process. It doesn't have to be, but I like to do it this way. One, we're going to make our garlic blue cheese mayo and let that sort of come together overnight in the refrigerator. And 2, we're going to grill up our ribeye and chill it down completely overnight. I like to do it that way when I'm making a steak sandwich because what you get at the end is almost like a cold sliced roast beef, and with a ribeye, that is fantastic. But we got to get this seared up in our cast iron pan and then finished to 125 internal. And first thing we got to do is get a rub on it. I'm using jalapeno hot rub from Backyard Barbecue. I just want to get a nice coating on this USDA choice ribeye. This is a little over a pound. It's boneless ribeye. I want to get a pretty good coating because we are going to be blackening this in the cast iron pan. Get a nice crust on it. Now, this is not going to take long on the grill, so I'm not going to do any talking out there. So what I'm going to be doing is searing it for 2 minutes on each side in the cast iron pan. Then, if it needs it, it's going to go indirect until it hits that 125 internal. Then it's going to come off, get wrapped in foil, and go in the refrigerator overnight. Super simple. So I'm going to head out to the grill and cook this up. So here is our finished ribeye. Pulled it at 125. Now out there you saw me use cast iron pan over the coals. I wanted to get that pan hot. I did a little temp reading out there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was over 400 degrees. I think I showed it on camera. And I added 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter to the pan before we started blackening this. Now, blackening doesn't mean it's going to be black and burned. Blackening is just a term to give it a high heat sear with certain spices on the meat. Now, I didn't use a traditional blackening seasoning. I used a commercial rub that I like, but this is a blackened process to get it to where we are, and it looks great. Now I want to get this wrapped up in some foil, and it's going to go in the refrigerator to chill down overnight. That's ready for the refrigerator. I'm going to get that in there, and we're going to go ahead and get our garlic blue cheese mayo ready. So for our garlic blue cheese mayo, we're starting with about a half a cup of mayo. Now, I get asked this question a lot when I'm not using a measuring cup to get something like mayonnaise or sour cream. How do I know how much is about a half a cup? Well, part of it is just visualizing something this size, because this is a half cup little ramekin that I have. So if you imagine that in there, I'm just sort of visualizing that I'm putting that much in here. Maybe a little more. So that's roughly half a cup. I'm also going to give this a good pinch of salt and a good pinch of ground black pepper. A few good shots of Worcestershire sauce. About a tablespoon of crushed garlic. And about 3 tablespoons of blue cheese crumbles. And I'm just going to mix this together. Take a little taste. That is going to be terrific on this steak sandwich. Hands down, this is terrific. All right, I'm going to transfer this to another container, put a lid on it. It's going in the refrigerator overnight for all those flavors to even get in there. More to just sort of get into that mayonnaise and spread out. It's going to be terrific. And tomorrow, I'll see you back here when we start building this blackened ribeye steak sandwich. All right, our ribeye has been resting overnight. It's nice and chilled down. It's time to get some slices out of this because we're probably going to use, I don't know, a third of it, maybe a little more. We'll see when we start building the sandwich. Oh, yes. That's what I want. That nice pink right there that you can see. We're going to lose this big piece of fat here once we slice it for the sandwich. But let's get some nice thin slices here. Something like that, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Now, of course, if you really like that much fat, you can leave it. And of course, you can cook this to your doneness liking. If you like it cooked more, go ahead. I like mine on that rare, medium rare side. I think that should give us a good amount. Get the excess fat off some of these pieces. Should I sneak a little taste? That's going to make a fantastic sandwich. I'm going to clean my board up right here, and we'll get on to building this blackened ribeye steak sandwich. So for my bun today, I'm using a toasted everything but the bagel seasoning bun. It's got sesame seeds, some of those seasonings from that everything but the bagel seasoning, if you've ever seen that, really good. Now we're going to start our bottom bun with some of that garlic blue cheese mayo. And it's chunky because there are big pieces of blue cheese in there. Now, if you don't like blue cheese, you could use goat cheese, you could use feta cheese, you could use no cheese. Cheese is not required. I just like blue cheese. In fact, I love blue cheese. I also love fresh spinach, so we're going to put some fresh spinach leaves down here. I love cooked spinach too. Just love spinach. Now for the star of the show, some of our blackened ribeye. We're just going to layer this on here. Put as much as you want. There is no building permit required, so you can go way up if you want. Also going to put a thinly sliced tomato on here and some red onions. I just love red onions on sandwiches. It has that nice crisp bite to it. Finally, a little more of our garlic blue cheese mayo on our top bun here. And we crown. There we go. Our blackened ribeye steak sandwich. I've actually been waiting for this since yesterday, so let's dive in. Now I'm just going to cut this in half because I'm actually not going to eat the whole thing right now. I'm going to save some for a little bit later. That's a beefy interior. Looks good to me. Let's see. This is freaking awesome. There are 2 stars to the show here. That blackened ribeye and the garlic blue cheese mayo. That combination is a winner. And I'm sure a lot of people will wonder, why didn't you use hot ribeye or warm ribeye? There's just something to me about letting the meat chill down and it retains all its juiciness. You don't have to let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes. You're going to chill it down overnight, or at least for say 4 or 5 hours. To me, this gives a great flavor in a steak sandwich. And I've said many times in the past that I'm not someone who likes to slather a ton of condiments on my burgers or my sandwiches. In this case though, that garlic blue cheese mayo, I could add twice as much on here and it would still be amazing.